What what up, YouTube? It's often been said that a woman is looking for a man who is a little bit more on the safer side, or excuse me, a man that makes them feel safe. Um, and I feel like there can be like so many different ways to like talk about what that means. A safe man, and I think some men can get it wrong. Um, so I want to talk about my stance on it and basically how I think you have to think a little bit counterintuitively um, if you want to, do it the right way. And I'm going to be making some points that I think some people haven't heard. So stick around for that in this video. So the first one, to make a woman feel safe as a man, I think is obviously that, you don't do anything that would damage her. Um, Basically that, you can regulate your emotions and you're not so aggressive that you would end up doing something to hurt her. And I know this is obvious, um, but I think it's not that clear cut with what I'm gonna say next, and that's that the opposite is also true. That you can make a woman feel safe by being able having the ability to damage other people. Because if you have to think about it, right, like a man is basically the protector of his household. So he has to be soft for the people inside the household and hard against the people outside the household. Historically, like a man was supposed to be soft enough to where he could take care of the people inside, his family, wife, and kids, but aggressive enough to be able to hurt anyone that tried to attack his family. And I feel like that's what a lot of nicer guys get wrong. They think, oh, if I'm, you know, a woman's looking for a man who's safe, who makes her feel safe, so I'll just feel, or I'll just be the super soft person with no aggression, um, virtually at all. And you think that that will make her feel safe and thus attracted to you. And yeah, she might be like, oh, he makes me feel very safe inside. But, you also have to be able to possibly inflict damage onto other people. And this doesn't necessarily mean that you walk around all aggressive and tough guy, but it just means you kind of carry yourself with that mindset. Maybe if you go to the gym and build some muscle, or if you're taller, that's already working in your favor to make you feel like you're a protector. Um, if you learn how to debate, um, how to stay emotionally non-reactive is another way to, you know, almost indirectly inflict damage on another person. Because if someone, tries to diss on you or, you know, start a problem with your wife, your family, if you can stay emotionally non-reactive, then, you can kind of fend that person off indirectly where they're not going to mess with you if they can't feel that they can hurt you. Um, or even if you just want to do some boxing lessons or something like that, because the woman wants to know that, yeah, you can potentially inflict damage on somebody else, but at the same time treat her softly. And you see this in like the Twilight series, for example, where Edward Cullen, I think that's his name, Edward Cullen. He's very aggressive and he's strong, and he has kind of like an anger side to him. But he uses that against other people, and then he's like more softer towards Bella, the girl that he likes. Um, so it's kind of this two-way thing, and it's hard to balance because some guys they're just too aggressive or they're too soft and they just can't control it. Um, so yeah, you got to kind of play the middle ground. Okay, the second thing is that as far as emotional regulation, to make a woman feel safe, you should never you shouldn't easily be able to lose an argument with her. Um and I feel like that can mean a few different things. So part of it is competence, just having head knowledge and intelligence so that you don't lose the argument. If a woman starts it with you, but that's not necessarily important. It's okay if a woman is smarter than you in some area, that's fine. It's not really a problem. The problem is that when she starts losing or winning, um, by either emotionally arousing you too much or through manipulation. Um, I mean, you don't want a girl that manipulates on purpose, but if a woman does get mad and becomes a little bit manipulative naturally or unconsciously, you want to be able to see that coming and either just shut it down, just be like, I'm not going to respond to that, or yeah, just don't engage in argument at all and don't get emotionally flustered. Um, and you got to know when the argument is logical and when it's emotional. If it's super emotional, just be like, we can talk about this later. Um, when we're both cooled down. But you don't want to get too flustered, because it's just gonna make her feel that you're easily emotionally, you know, get off track, and that you can't maintain your strong stoic presence. And then the other part of it is competence. If you're intelligent, um, more intelligent than in certain areas than the woman, that's I think she will also feel safe, if you can win the argument. And I think that's counterintuitive to like how a lot of men think. They think, oh, the woman will like it if she can win the argument because then it causes peace. But I don't think so. I think that, um, the woman will feel less safe because she wants to know that you are competent in your stoicism and in your intelligence. So ultimately, I think most women want to lose arguments with men, or they want you to not engage with them if they're being too emotional. Um, so yeah, I don't believe like I think it was like Steve Harvey or something said like a few years ago, like happy wife, happy life or something. I think he was saying like he won't argue with his wife or he'll let her be right or something like that. I think it was him. But anyways, I don't think you should let your wife be right or your a girl be right, or really don't let anybody be right unless like they're your boss and you absolutely have to. Um, but yeah, I think a woman wants to know that she can win or that you can win arguments at least, by not getting flustered because it will make her feel like you're strong and that's gonna make her feel safe. Another thing is gonna be financial. Um, this could mean that you're financially well off, or you're just good with your money, or you just have a good plan to make more money. Obviously, a woman can feel more protected. I don't necessarily think it's she's gold digging. A gold digger would just want your money just to buy things. But I think a woman feels more safe. Obviously, if she's in an emergency, you'll have the money to buy something if you need it, or pay medical bills, or if you need to get a flight at the last minute, you can do it. If you go, you know, obviously for a bunch of reasons, she can feel more protected if you have money, and a stable job. So for me personally, I'm trying to raise my income. It's one of the big things I want to work on in my life. And yeah, so with the next one, it's gonna be having a solid life plan. I mean, for me, I'm a little bit more spontaneous, but I think some women will like to know like where you're headed in some ways, like just give them a sense of stability. Um, like I mean, yeah, the spontaneousness is good. I mean, maybe some women like some hippie guys who just live life with the flow, but it seems like most women will settle with men who are financially well off and have a life plan, generally speaking. Obviously, having good morals, um, I believe, will make a woman feel a lot more safe. Especially, I mean, me, I mean, trying to be a Christian, I think that it provides a lot of predictability in a way for a woman to know what I believe, and to um, see, that when we get married, we're loyal, and just basically know that we subscribe to some morals. It's really important, I think, and especially if you can have ways of stating that, when you're with that person. Oh, I believe that X moral, I believe this moral, and just kind of living by those things um, can help. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying it ups your attractiveness level, because it might decrease some mystery if a woman knows what you think, and that you're loyal, and that um, you know that you want to do good things in life. But at the very least, it will make a woman want to settle down with you at least and get married. This next one is going to be the ability to fit in with other people. And I think women are very like subconscious about this. Like, they want somebody who can fit in and have a social network, has a social um kind of network and group that they're a part of, at least somewhere where they're accepted. I think that a lot of men don't really care, like, if a woman fits in or not. But I think women can get very weird about this, where, like, it's almost like if you don't fit in anywhere, then, like, you're a predator, type of thing. Like, maybe they won't say that out loud, but I feel like they could feel uneasy about it. Um, they want to know that you have the ability to fit in to some extent. So it's always good, even if you're more of a unique person, like, always good to study up on communication. Um, just like, read around and copy people, and I always do that. I always look at people and I that I admire, or in different situations, and I just try to copy what they do. How they stand, how they just live, and communicate with others, and you know to extent try to rely on other people. um I don't know, I don't think it's necessarily matters if you're like a loner that much, but I think it can help if you have a social network, especially if there's other women who are attracted to you, or you at least have a few friends that are women. Or maybe take a few photos with a couple women, multiple women in the photo, so it doesn't look like it's your girlfriend, and then post that on your social media. uh Another thing related to fitting in, um is not just your communication skills, but to be able to dress okay. I'm trying to improve the way that I dress a little bit here and there. Um, and not only how you dress, but a big one is going to be your tone, your sub communication. Uh, I think a lot of women are, I believe, are very tonal, and they're very um, about sub communication. And, like, if you don't exactly fit in like that, in that way, it can be hard uh, for them to feel comfortable. Like, I think a lot of men are just more into, like, the words that you speak, but I think a lot of women are more into, like, your body language and your tone. So, you want to be careful that you're doing things that, um, I mean, you're not doing things that blatantly don't fit in. Like, for example, I mean, this could also be related to manners, but, like, let's say you're putting your feet up on the seat on the train or something like that. She might not feel safe if you're doing something like that. Um, that's like a kind of body language thing. Or if you just, you know, everybody else is like looking at somebody and you're like looking at the walls or whatever, like, not paying attention. Um, I don't know. Sometimes you kind of gotta do like be in sync with what other people are doing, and if your body language is kind of like, you know, um, kind of inappropriate for the moment, and I think a lot of that is just stuff you have to look at, you know. Um, or if, for example, if something really bad happens and you laugh, which some people do, they laugh nervously. That could also make a woman feel unsafe. Just different things like that, which you gotta kind of pay attention to in yourself. And or even when it comes to tone, being overly formal tone, I feel like can make women feel a little bit uneasy. Like, if you said, "So, top of the morning to you. How is your day going?" Some like weird formal thing like that. Maybe they could feel a little bit weird or unsafe. They'd be like, why is this guy talking like that? He's kind of like a foreigner, like, or like a, not like ethnically a foreigner, but like different than other people, Because I think that's how women like judge a lot. Like they judge like, are you in the inside group or are you in the outside group? You know, um, outside of the accepted circle of people. So yeah, that tone and body language and dressing better is definitely women will feel safe. In the long term, I don't think it really matters, but I guess some of this advice is on the short term. Um, yeah, I feel like I missed a point earlier when I was talking about arguing with the woman, and that's that this is a big one because I feel like there's two, ways that people, or one way that people can get caught up in, you know, planning their life or trying to create a safe and structured environment for a woman. And one way they do that is that, by creating an overall life plan, like I was talking about, an overall life improvement and structure um, throughout their entire life. But one big way that I found that women care about is real time safety. So, how do you react in real time? Can you think on your feet? And not that none of that or a lot of that stuff isn't necessarily easy to do. Like if you can think quick on your feet or come to conclusions really quickly, especially in some emergency or stressful situation, or if someone tries to start an argument with you, how can you react in real time? Like, because there's tons of people. For example, if you watch that show on Netflix called Special Extraordinary Attorney Woo, she's this autistic woman. It's a K drama, and she's a lawyer. And on the spot, um, she doesn't really often answer very well, or she can't even answer at all. She just freezes up. But then, if you give her time, she can create this whole giant response. In the courtroom or whatever. So I feel like that's a big difference. You got to think about both of those things. You know, you have to be able to formulate ideas and responses over and structure in your life and a plan over a long period of time, and habits, such as, uh, if you have good habits of paying the bills, going to the gym, cleaning your house, that all that stuff is not happening in real time, but you also got to be able to react in real time. So think on your feet, and yeah, that's a big difference. So if a woman wants to feel safe, gonna feel safe, you got to be at least decent at doing both. That's what I think. Another thing that makes a woman feel pretty safe is that if you're not overly needy, especially like emotionally, that you don't like totally need her for your happiness. She doesn't want to feel like if she breaks up with you, you're going to be so depressed that you can't handle it. That's going to be kind of scary for her. So, but at the same time, you can't be so unneedy that you're like psychopathic or like you'd go cheat on her or something like that. So you got to be like somewhat in the middle, and some of it is just what you portray. You know, we all get anxious if the woman doesn't text back, but sometimes you just got to portray that it doesn't bother you that much. Um, but obviously, you know, you still have to show affection to her. So it's like somewhere in the middle ground where they want to feel like you're loyal, but you know, not so overly needy, but also that you wouldn't just, you know, have leave her and not care at all. So that's a big one. As far as emotions go, also I think women don't like when men like harbor a lot of anger. I think that can make them unsafe. I mean, I know it's you know, obviously some of us have some reasons to be angry. Um, but I think it sucks because people can become victims. Like you get bullied, or you know, people are mistreated by their parents, and then they end up hating their parents or hating everybody, and it can make people feel unsafe that they hate everybody. Um, but yeah, sorry, I just getting a little bit tired. Uh, but at the end of the day, like we do have to take responsibility and work on those angers that we have towards people. And also, I don't recommend sharing like trauma dumping on people. That's another big one, is trauma dumping. Like I don't recommend sharing like right off the bat with someone, oh, I hate my parents, or you know, I hate everybody, or you know, talking about that type of thing, because I think a woman can feel scared, like, you know, you're gonna either try to isolate them because they're the only ones you like, or you're gonna blow up aggressively on another person. And yeah, uh, yeah, sometimes just oversharing in general. Like I had a coworker once, who like just casually mentioned that like he had a criminal record, and like he didn't say what it was, so it kind of like creeped me out, you know. Like I'm sure he's probably a nice guy, but like I don't know, he didn't have to like mention that. You know, I feel like those types of conversation like should be mentioned, like I don't know, when you get to know somebody well, but I don't feel like he had a reason to mention that he has a criminal record to me, especially without saying what it's for. You know, if he said it was for, I don't know, doing graffiti or stealing a beer or something like that, maybe I would have thought, okay, that's not that weird. But um, I don't know. It went to my head. Oh, maybe he's like kidnapped somebody, or maybe he like beat up an old lady. I don't know. You know. So, but I think that stuff is kind of obvious. But yeah, I feel like it's important to make a woman feel safe. Um, and I hope that there were a lot of tips. I hope this wasn't obvious. Drop a comment. I think I made some points that are a little bit different. Um, especially regarding the, you know, you want to be soft to those in your house, but you want to be able to be strong to anybody that is a predator to your family or a trespasser, you know, outside of your house. Not literally your house physically, but it could be. But I just mean protecting your family in general, um, or those close to you. All right, drop a comment. I'm getting tired. I'm about to go make some rice. I just watered my cactus. I feel like it was gonna die. If a cactus dies, dang, then I should really never have kids. I hear cactuses are really easy to take care of. You only water it like once a month. So if you ever see this die, just drop in the comment, dang, you do not know how to take care of anything. All right, good night. Peace.